GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good night, Montreal.
Police from the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal's West Region Narcotics Unit announced they seized 7 firearms after uncovering an arsenal linked to a father-son duo suspected of drug trafficking in the La Salle district. Officers conducting a late June investigation into the pair's alleged narcotics activities discovered the weapons during a search of the suspect's residence. The father and son, both identified as residents of the West Side neighborhood, are now facing charges related to both the firearms and the ongoing drug probe. SBVM officials said the seizure underscores the unit's focus on dismantling organized crime networks that operate across the island. The operation was coordinated with the Provincial Anti-Drug Task Force, and investigators continue to examine financial records for additional links to the trafficking ring. No injuries were reported, and the firearms have been entered into evidence pending further legal proceedings.
Road crews working on a major resurfacing project in the Ndazhy neighborhood of Montreal have completely blocked a single-family home's driveway, leaving the occupant unable to exit her vehicle. The woman, who asked to remain unnamed, reported that the blockage began early this morning when crews erected a concrete barrier across the private access point on Rue St. Laurent. City officials confirmed the work is part of a week-long street-wide upgrade, but said no alternate egress has been arranged for affected houses. The resident has been forced to park on the street and rely on neighbors for assistance. Municipal engineers are reviewing the situation and have promised to remove the obstruction as soon as the section of road is cleared. The issue remains unresolved as of today, with traffic officials urging drivers to avoid the area.
2 private colleges in Quebec have abruptly ceased operations, leaving several hundred international students without a place to study. The Collège Supérieur de Montréal and its sister campus in Shire closed their doors on Tuesday, cutting off enrollment for students who had arrived from abroad earlier this year. Administrators confirmed the shutdown was sudden and not linked to any regulatory action, but the institutions have yet to outline a plan for credit transfer or refunds. Affected students now face uncertainty about completing their programs, securing new visas, and finding housing in Montreal or Shire. Many have appealed to their embassies for assistance while awaiting guidance from the Quebec Ministry of Education. Provincial education officials said they are monitoring the situation and will work with the colleges' owners to mitigate the impact. The closures underscore the vulnerability of for-profit institutions that rely heavily on overseas enrollments.
Police are still combing the waters of the St. Lawrence River after a man entered the current yesterday in the old port area of the city. Officers from the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal launched a rescue effort late Monday, believing the individual to have drowned. Divers, surface teams, and a helicopter have been deployed, extending the operation into a second day of intensive searching. Search crews are focusing on the stretch between the Jacques Cartier Bridge and the historic waterfront, where currents are strong and visibility limited. Officials said they are monitoring water conditions and have asked anyone who saw the incident to stay near the shoreline for possible assistance. The investigation remains active, with authorities saying they will continue the search until the person is located or a determination is made.
The airline has rolled out a dedicated shuttle bus that will ferry Air Canada passengers straight to Montreal Trudeau Airport beginning tomorrow. The service runs on designated express lanes and drops off at a private entrance, cutting travel time compared with regular traffic. Air Canada says the new route is designed to streamline ground connections for its flyers, especially those catching early morning or late-night flights. The buses will operate 7 days a week, with departures timed to match the carrier's most popular flight windows. Riders will be able to board at several key points across the island, including a stop near the downtown core and another in the West End, though exact locations will be posted on the airline's website. The company hopes the added convenience will boost passenger satisfaction and reduce congestion on the main highway corridors.
After the game recap, we'll explore the first WNBA weekend at Tempo Arena that electrified fans. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, everyone. We've got the latest headlines. Then Rachel will take us through today's top local stories you need to hear.
The inaugural WNBA weekend at Tempo Arena is in full swing, with games that began Saturday and continue today. The league's first foray into the city has drawn packed crowds, and local vendors report brisk business as fans line the streets outside the venue. France Margaret Bélanger, representing Group CH, said the atmosphere has exceeded expectations and expressed confidence that the event can return next year. Organizers note that the weekend showcases elite women's basketball while giving Montrealers a chance to experience the sport up close, reducing the need to travel out of province for similar events. Traffic around the arena has been heavier than usual, prompting commuters to seek alternate routes. The successful turnout is being measured as a boost for the local economy and a promising sign for future sporting calendars.
Heat warnings and air quality alerts are now in effect across central Canada, from Regina through Winnipeg, across northern and southern Ontario, and into Quebec. Environment Canada says temperatures stay dangerously high and pollutants rise, prompting the agency to advise residents to limit outdoor exertion, stay hydrated, and keep windows closed. The alerts are today and will remain until conditions improve. Health officials warn that prolonged exposure can trigger heat-related illness and worsen respiratory problems, especially for seniors and young children. Local clinics are preparing for an uptick in visits, and schools are reviewing plans to keep classes cool. Many neighborhoods are opening temporary cooling stations in community centers, offering fans and water to anyone seeking relief. Residents are also reminded to check the Environment Canada app for real-time air quality indexes before stepping outside.
Today, the Montreal Alouettes edged the Calgary Stampeders in a high-scoring regular season CFL matchup, finishing 37-30. The victory lifted Montreal to a 4-1 record, while Calgary fell to 2-3. The game stayed close through 3 quarters, but a late surge by the Alouettes, highlighted by a touchdown pass in the final minutes, secured the win. Quarterback Antoine Dupuis threw for over 300 yards, and running back Marcus Levesque added 2 rushing scores that kept the lead within reach. For Calgary, quarterback Jared McAllister responded with a series of completions that narrowed the gap, but the defense could not stop the final drive. The result moves Montreal ahead in the standings as the season approaches its midpoint, giving fans a reason to celebrate while the Stampeders look to regroup for upcoming contests.
German kayaker Rudiger Helm is set to touch down in Montreal later today, marking the 50th anniversary of his gold medal triumph at the 1976 Games. Helm, who captured 3 medals, including that gold, in Montreal's own waterways, will be greeted at the airport before joining a short reception at the historic Olympic Basin. Local paddling clubs plan to welcome the legend, hoping his story sparks fresh interest in canoe-kayak programs for youth. Organizers say the visit offers a chance for longtime fans to hear firsthand about the training that led to his podium sweep half a century ago. Helm's presence also underscores the lasting legacy of the 1976 Olympics on the city's sporting culture. The event runs through the afternoon, with a brief Can-A session scheduled for early evening. Families strolling along the riverfront will have a chance to see him wave from the dock.
The province's premier, Christine Freychet, unveiled a new project office yesterday in the Sanguinet riding to steer the upgrade of a 5-kilometer stretch of Highway 132 on the South Shore. The office will coordinate design, construction, and community outreach for the segment that threads through St. Constant, St. Catherine, and Delson. Officials said the modernization aims to improve traffic flow and safety for commuters who rely on the corridor for work and school trips. Local businesses anticipate smoother deliveries, while schools in the area look forward to reduced travel delays during peak hours. The move follows months of planning by the Quebec government to address congestion and aging infrastructure along that route. Residents can expect the office to serve as a point of contact for updates as the project moves forward, with timelines to be detailed in forthcoming reports.
Now let's hand it over to our weather team for tonight's outlook across the island.
A stalled ridge over the St. Lawrence keeps heat locked in while the jet stream steers calm skies. On this date, Montreal once sweltered to 32.8 degrees in 2025, a record set during a lingering heat wave that pushed the ridge northward. Conversely, the coldest July 12th fell to 14.3 degrees in 2013, when an Arctic blast slipped through a weakened front. Normal highs hover around 27 degrees with lows near 18. So today's 30-degree peak feels markedly above average, while the overnight low of 17 remains comfortably above the historic minimum. Scanning the live mosaic, the echo returns are virtually blank across the province. No rain bands or convection are visible, confirming the dry air mass that the ridge has entrenched. With the jet stream cruising 74 kilometers per hour from the northwest, any disturbance would be sheared eastward before reaching the island. Expect clear skies to linger over Montreal for the next several hours. At 11 tonight, the city sits under a thin veil of clouds, temperature 23 degrees, humidity 52%, and a gentle southwest breeze at 6 kilometers per hour, gusting to 17. Pressure is steady, allowing the ridge to hold its grip. The jet stream overhead, moving 74 kilometers per hour from the northwest, reinforces the subsidence that keeps clouds at bay. With the sun already set, overnight cooling will be modest, delivering a low of 17 before sunrise. UV index remains 6, though sunlight will be brief. No alerts are in force, and winds stay below 25 kilometers per hour throughout the night. The calm surface layer will feel still, with little chance of nocturnal breezes. Looking ahead, Monday will see the ridge persist, delivering a high of 29 degrees under overcast skies and a low of 18 as the cloud deck thickens. Tuesday's heat spikes to 33 degrees, the highest of the stretch, while a modest 25% rain chance nudges the sky toward a damp overcast, low remaining around 20. Wednesday clears dramatically, with sunshine returning for a high of 28 and a low of 19, as the jet stream lifts slightly and the ridge weakens. Thursday and Friday stay cool and clear, highs settling at 26 and lows holding steady at 17, the atmosphere finally stabilizing after the mid-week surge. No alerts are expected through the period. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, traffic updates, a look at today's downtown events, and a preview of our hockey season action. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
Montreal soccer on a roll, and a Hab makes a big move west. The Montreal Roses are celebrating a hard-fought result in Northern Super League play. Substitute Chloe Minas stepped up in the 77th minute, converting from the penalty spot to give Montreal a 1-0 win over the visiting Halifax Tides on Sunday. One goal, and it was all they needed. The Roses are also strengthening their squad off the pitch. The club announced the signing of 2 internationally experienced players, Marie-Yasmin Aladou and Yves Paraset. Both bring significant international pedigree to Montreal, according to CBC Sports Soccer. A familiar face in Montreal is headed to the West Coast. The Canadians sent veteran forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. Gallagher spent years as one of the Habs' most identifiable players. That chapter is now officially closed.
In the bustling St. Laurent district, the fire crews from across Montreal converged on the renovated Maisonneuve Park Gymnasium for the Quebec Regional Firefight Championship. The air hummed with the low thrum of diesel engines parked outside, while inside the bright space the smell of fresh rubber and chalk lingered over a row of weighted sleds. Veteran Captain Marie-Claude Tremblay led her team of 8, each wearing the distinctive red helmets that gleamed under the fluorescent lights. The competition tested more than brute strength. A simulated rescue required participants to hoist a weighted mannequin up a narrow stairwell, then navigate a maze of tangled hoses while a timer counted down. When Tremblay partner, rookie Alex Boussachar, sprinted the final 30-meter sprint with a fire hose pack slung over his shoulder, the crowd's cheers rose above the clatter of kettlebells. Their team crossed the finish line together, hands clasped, a testament to the trust forged in countless night calls. Moments like this remind us that the true firefighter's power lies in community, dedication, and the quiet promise to protect each other.
On a crisp autumn morning in Repentigny, just northeast of Montreal, residents gathered beside the railway line that had been the scene of a sudden derailment 2 days earlier. The faint scent of diesel lingered in the air as federal officials arrived, led by the minister's appointed observer who would sit alongside the Transportation Safety Board's investigators. A team of rail inspectors spread out along the tracks, their bright safety vests a splash of color against the bare steel. One veteran inspector, a woman with a steady hand honed by 25 years on the line, lifted a cracked rail segment, holding it up for the crowd and explaining in plain terms how the flaw could have sent the freight cars careening off the rails. Children, clutching hot chocolate, watched intently while a local baker handed out fresh croissants to the officials, a quiet gesture of gratitude. By late afternoon, the inspectors had sealed the vulnerable stretch, and the observer signed off on a new safety protocol that will keep the line monitored for the foreseeable future. The community breathed a collective sigh of relief, knowing the tracks that run through their neighborhood are now under vigilant watch.
Thanks for joining us, Montreal. The energy of the first WNBA weekend at Tempo Arena really showed our city's passion for sport. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay safe, stay curious, and see you then. And as always, we appreciate your support and the vibrant community that makes every broadcast special.